Colorado's Best.
Thanks so much for watching Colorado's Best on Fox. I'm Paula Haddock. Joanna will join us in just a few minutes. We're here with attorney Phil Harding from Harding & Associates. So I understand you're going to teach us today about personal injury cases and really kind of getting to the heart of the matter to be able to recover the most damages, right?
Yeah, I'm going to break this down a little bit,
Okay.
and I want to go into kind of the most basic of basics, and that's how to get paid by an insurance company or a jury, and what makes up really a settlement or a judgment.
Okay, so I thought, when basically you're looking for damages, it's like a negotiation. The parties get together and then they decide, settlement on one amount. Is that how it goes?
It is a negotiation, but the more you know about how the negotiation takes place or the equations, the more money you'll get. Today I'm going to dig into what makes up the parts of a settlement number. The more information you include in this settlement number, the more money you're going to get. And so generally damages are broken down into the 4 different components if you go to trial, and that is economic, non-economic, physical impairment, and punitive damages. So each one of these has some subcategories that we're going to talk about, but let's go over this. And really, it's like selling a car. Let's say you had a 2015 Ford Taurus and you just put it on Craigslist and you said 2015 Ford Taurus. You're not going to get as much as if you say, hey, it's the Ford Taurus, it's the SHO version, it's been garage kept, it's only 40,000 miles, and I have all the records. You'll pay so much more when you give more details.
That makes perfect sense. I like that analogy. So let's go through the different damages, kind of break them down one by one for us.
Sure. Let's talk about what economic damages are in that first part. First of all, economic damages are medical expenses, and so medical expenses are not only just the ones in the past or the present, but also in the future. You may have your doctor write and say, you know what, this person needs to come back to me every twice a year. So you plug that in. Loss of income. If you lost time from work, even if you had to take vacation or sick time, you need to be reimbursed for that. Now let's say your car wasn't totaled, but it was just repaired, it's called a diminution of value claim, right? You'd much rather have a car that hasn't been wrecked versus one that has been wrecked. So if your car is wrecked and you're not getting that full of value, put in the diminution of value claim on that as well.
Diminution. I don't think I've ever heard that so
Right.
far. All right, so when it comes to the car, can you recover mileage and stuff like that?
Yeah, let me tell you. And so the mileage more gets into, let's say the doctor had you go to 20 physical therapies. You need to get the mileage that you put on the car driving to and from this physical therapy. So, generally you follow the IRS guidelines and plug that in, which is about 39 cents per mile. And it's really simple. Let's say you did 20 physical therapies, it's 10 miles round trip, therefore it's 200 miles,
Sure.
and you times that by whether that's 23 cents or the 39 based upon the IRS guidelines. And I know it's minor, but still you want to try to get every single penny that you can.
All right.
The next thing is this non-economic, and this is the hardest one to understand. Non-economic is like pain and suffering. And so really this pain and suffering, how do you calculate that? And let me just tell you, generally, cases settle for 2 to 3 times someone's out-of-pocket expenses. And out-of-pocket is that medical bills, it's the diminution of value, it's the lost time from work. And so generally a case will settle for 2 to 3 times, and so that will be built in on the pain and suffering. Now, if you have any scarring or disfigurement or permanent impairment, that's going to add another factor on that. And that kind of goes into our next level as well that we can talk about. And so let's talk about physical impairment. Let's say you're done treating, right? Let's say you're done with all the medical treatment, but you still have a scar or a limp. And you need to be compensated for that. So you need to get medical documentation that you send to the other side that says there's all this future treatment that's going to be needed, and you're going to have a pain in the back for the rest of your life. Let's hope that's not the case, but if it is, you need to be compensated for that. And remember, the last thing that we want to talk about is punitive damages. And I just have to tell you, first of all, if you ever read an insurance contract, if you sue for punitive damages, insurance doesn't cover that. The other side's insurance will exclude that, so the person that you're suing has to pay that personally. But punitive means, to punish. And so on punitive damages, there's a different standard. And we're getting into this a little deeper than normal, but maybe we'll talk about it. You have to prove on a heightened standard, not just by a preponderance of the evidence. So remember that on punitive damages, and rarely they're awarded. You have to prove that the person, what they were doing, was willful and wanton, right? They sought you out and caused this instead of just a regular car accident where someone ran into you.
All right. I love that you dig deep like that. And, you know, we learned so much from you, Phil. Appreciate it. And if you would like to reach Phil, just call him at Harding & Associates directly at 303-762-9500. You can get a free consultation with him anytime, and you can find him online at hlaw.org. Well, up next on Colorado's Best on Fox, one of Boulder's top spots for award-winning Mexican food and margs is getting a facelift. Yeah, find out